Abhyakata. There are three questions we have already discussed that there are 22 Tikmatikas. If you see, we have already discussed that there are 22 Tikmatikas and 200 Dukmatikas and 42 Sutanmatikas. So we are going to discuss the first Tik Matika of Niket Kanda, that is the Kusala Tik. There are three questions: Katme Dhamma Kusala, Katme Dhamma Akusala, Katme Dhamma Abhyakata. There are three questions here. How many are the Dhammas or states which are called as Kusala? This is the first question. Now we have to find out the answer of these questions out of the 4 chapters of Dhammasaṅgaṇi. That how Chit Chetasik Rupa Nibbana are discussing related with this question, that how many states are wholesome or how many states are called as moral. So there are 4 types of ultimate reality: Chit Chetasik Rupa Nibbana. We have to find out that how many are the Dhammas which are called as Kusala. Let us discuss first of all that what is called as Kusala. There are 3 words here as per the Arthasalani. Acharya Buddha Ghosh has defined the term Kusala. Kuchita karena sayantanam papakanam akusalanam dhammanam lunati iti kusalam. That kusal or moral states are called because it removes the immoral states which are in the form of kus. If you have seen the kus grass, the both sides of the kus grass are very sharp. If you pick up the kus grass, the fingers will be cut. In the same manner, here kuchita karena sayantanam papakanam akusalanam dhammanam lunati iti kusalam. That the immoral dhammas which are lying on the surface of mind in the form of latent form, they are uprooted by the moral dhammas. This is there are 3 letters here. Ku, sa, la. Ku is in the kuchita karena, sa is the sayantanam, papkanam, akusalanam, dhammanam, la is the lunati. So moral states are uprooting the immoral dhammas which are in the form of defiling factors on the surface of the mind. This is called as kusala. In the perspective of Abhidhamma, we know that kusal is associated with the 3 types of moral dhammas, moral hetus. They are alobha, adosa, moha. In the Sammaditthita, if you see that first of all it is said that yo kusalam cha pajanati, kusal moolam cha pajanati, akusalam cha pajanati, akusal moolam cha pajanati, एकता वत्ता पीखो अरिय साहब को सम्मादिट्ठी होती. Dham Senapati Sariput explains that what is kusala. Then in explaining the kusala mula, first of all, that yo kusalam cha pajanati, kusal moolam cha pajanati. Kusal mool are 3, alov, ados, amoha, and this there are akusala. So akusal is here elaborated in the 3 types, that is the kaikam, vachasikam, and manasikam. There are 10 types of actions which have been discussed here. So there are 3 types of moral, that is the panati pata vermani, adinna dana vermani, kamesu mitsachara vermani. So these are called as kaik karma. Then there are 4 types of vachasik karma: Musavada Berbani, Pisuna Vacha Berbani, Farusa Vacha Berbani, Samphalapa Berbani. And there are 3 types of mental actions, that is Anavijja, Abhyapad, and Sammaditthi. So these all are discussed in the Sammaditthi Sutta. Here in the case of Abhidhamma, we have to see that how many are the Chitta Chetasik Rupa Nibbana, they are related with the Kusala. We have to find out the answer out of them. Then we see that Rupa is not related with the kusala. Nibbana is also not included. Only we have to find out the answer of this question. That is from the Chittupad Kanda. Now we have to find out that how many are the consciousness which are called as moral. That is the kusala chitta. Kusal hetu sampayuttam kusal chittam hoti. We have also discussed about the chitta, that what is the chitta. Here chitta is called as chittam tikiriya, that all the actions which are manifested by a person, they are being performed by the consciousness of the mind. Again, it is called as charnam tauti chittam. Here, chitta is in the sense of charana, that art of the painting, how an artist tries to make an image, and with the help of chitta sanya and chitta kamma, there is a very good example has been given by Acharya Buddha Bose in the Nidan Katha of our Atsalani, the commentary of the Dhammasaṅgaṇi. And with the help of the Chitta Sanya, which is the artistic design, and Chitta Kamma, that is the art of the painting, an artist perform the actions. So here also Chitta is nothing but the action. So here Kusal Kamma is in the form of that associated with the alova, adosa, moha, the consciousness, which is associated with the alova, adosa, moha. This is called as kusala chitta. Kusala hetu sampayuttam chittam ti kusala chittam. So we have to find out the answer about it. And if you go through the text, the first question, it has been said that tini kusal mulani, alobho, adoso, amoho, tam sampayutto, vedana kando, sanya kando, sankhar kando, byan kando, tam sambutthanam, kaya kammam, vachi kammam, mano kammam, ime dhamma kusala. This is the answer. So we have to find out that there are three types of mool. Here roots are in the alob, ado, samoha. Hetus are in the sense of roots. Mool athena hetu. Acharya Buddha Bose defines roots in the hetus in the sense of roots. Just like the roots gives the support of the tree in a standing of the tree. In the same way, roots are also supporting a personality in performing of an immoral action or immoral actions. That is why it is called as mulathena hetu. So there are three types of roots, that is moral roots, alobha, adosa, moha. So here all of you might be knowing about what is alobha, ados and amoha, but in a very brief manner, alobho iti chago. That alobha is in the sense of sacrifice of anything. Here sacrifice is that whenever a consciousness arises to give something to someone, this there is a dana chitta, which is associated with the somanasa sargata, that is the pleasant feeling, and having the knowledge also that this consciousness is the giving the fruit also. Then this is called as alobha, alobhoti chago. Second is the adosa, adosoti metta, metta te parhit kamata. That a desire to help others is called as adosa. So adosa is here just like in the Sutta Nipat, it has been defined that as a mother protects her child or baby at the cost of her own life. In the same way, a person can also behave friendliness to other persons. So here ados is in the sense of friendliness or maitri or metta. अमोहति सम्मादिठी थी पैया थी धम स्वभाव पटी वेदन लक्षणा. That it is the amoha is in the sense of paya, that through the paya a person dispels the darkness of ignorance, and he comes to know that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. So there are three moral roots which are associated. Now there is a Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhar Khanda. Vedana is one, Sanya is one, and Sankharas are 50 in number. So altogether there are 52 types of psychic factors here. So it is mentioned here that is Chetsikas. So it is in the form of here Vedana Khanda. So Vedana is Sa Vedati Ti Vedana, that Anubhavan Lakhanati Vedana, that which is being experienced by touching of any object. So Vedana is generally 5 types. So Manasa Vedana, Sukha Vedana, Domanasa Vedana, Dukha Vedana, and Upekha Vedana. So here Khand is in the sense of aggregates or heap or the Rasi Karan. So Vedana is of initially 5 types. So Vedana Khand, Sanya Khand is Sanya is Nil Pita Adi Bhedena Sanjanati iti Sanya. That knowing the objects by the way of color and the form and color, that this is the white, blue, red, this is through the Sanya. And Sanya Khand is the aggregate related with the perception. And then Sankhar, Sankharoti iti Sankharam. There are 50 types of mental dispositions, and they are the psychic factors. And out of the 50 psychic factors, Chetana is the prominent one. Through the Chetana, all the actions are being performed. That is why Buddha also says that Chetana ambika kammam badami chetitva kai kammam vachi kammam mano kammam. So this is all the kaik, vachasik and manasik actions are being performed by this volition. Buddha says that I say volition as an action, and through this volition, all the physical, vocal, mental actions are being performed. So here it is Chetana is the prominent one. Acharya Buddha Ghosh gives the simile of Chetana with Baddhiki as an carpenter. Just like seeing a carpenter who begins his work, and after seeing the carpenter, other workers are also start working. In the same manner, it is also compared with the farmer, Khet Sami. The example has been given that whenever the landlord goes to the field and he starts plowing, after seeing him, the other workers also begin the work. So Chetana is the prominent one. After the Chetana, other the psychic factors are also start working. So here Sankhar Khand, Sanya Khand, and Vedana Khand. These are denoting the 52 types of psychic factors. Beyond Khando. Here beyond is Vijanati Tiyatho, that which thinks of an object and knowing the object. It is in the sense of knowing the object. This is beyond. But here it is in the sense of 89 or 121 types of consciousness. So all the 89 or 121 types of consciousness, they are called here beyond Khando. So this is the Alobho, Adoso, Amoho. There are 3 moral roots which are associated with the 89 or 121 types of consciousness and the 52 types of psychic factors, tam samuttanam, and arising with that, tahi kammam, vachi kammam, mano kammam, ime dhamma kusala. The actions which are performed by a person, physical action, panatipata, adinadana, kamesu mitsachara, then vachikammam, musavada, pisuna vachara, falsa vacha, samfalapa, and manokammam, that in the form of anabhijya, abhyapad, sammaditthi. These are called as the moral dhammas. Ime dhamma kusala. This is now we have to see that how many are the consciousness we are seeing that 89 or 121 types of consciousness, as well as 52 types of psychic factors. Here, 52 out of the 52 types of factors, we are having 25 types of Sobhan Chetsikas, which are called as beautiful Sobhan psychic factors. And out of the 89 or 121 types of consciousness, we have to find out that how many are the consciousness which are called as moral or wholesome states. So this is the diagram. If you see, Kama which are 8, Rupa which are 5, Arupa which are 4, and Lokottar 4. Out of the 89, there are 21 types of consciousness which are called as a Kusala Chitta, that is the Ime Dhamma Kusala. Again, out of the 121 types of consciousness, there are Kama which are 8, Rupa which are 5, Arupa which are 4, and Lokottar 20. Altogether, there are 37 types of consciousness which are called as a Kusala Dhamma. So this is the diagram through which you can find out that tini kusal mulani alobho adoso amoho tam sampayutto vedana khando sanya khando sankhar khando, the psychic factors which are associated or arising with the moral consciousness, which are 21 or 37 in number. So these are the dhammas which are called as kusala dhamma or kusala. So see, this is the answer of this question. So if we are going to analyze all these things, that Tatme Dhamma Kusala, which has been briefly written here, if you go through the Chittupad Kand, you will find that Katme Dhamma Kusala, it has been elaborated in a very detailed manner. But in the Nikhepa Kand, it has been elaborated in a very brief manner. That is why it is called as Nikhepa, that in a brief manner. So here Kusala Chitta, which are 21 or 37 in number, they have been set like this, that Tini Kusal Mulani, that the moral states which are associated with Alova, Dosa, Moha, and then arising with the consciousness in the form of kaik, physical action, vocal action, and mental actions. And associated with that, there are psychic factors which are moral in nature. These are the dhammas which are called as kusala dhamma. Ime dhamma kusala, this is the answer. Now the second question is called as katme dhamma akusala. So in answer of this, it has been said that tini akusala mulani, lobho doso moho, tatketta cha kilesa, tam sampayutto vedana khando, sanya khando, sankhar khando, bhyan khando, tam samuttanam kaikammam, vachikammam, manokammam, ime dhamma akusala. So this is the answer given in the Nikhepa Kanda. Now let us see that if there is a question, Katme Dhamma Akusala, we have to find out the answer out of the 4 ultimate reality, Chitta Chesik, Rup, Nibbana. Again, Rup and Nibbana, they are not associated with the immoral states. Only we have to find out that how many are the consciousness, Chitta or psychic factors which are akusal in nature. So in the Kamavachar, when we are analyzing Katme Dhamma Kusala, in the Chittupad Kand, after the Katme Dhamma Kusala, Katme Dhamma Akusala has been elaborated in a very detailed manner. There are 8 Lobha Mulak, Dos Mulak 2, and Moh Mulak 2. So there are 12 types of Akusala Chitta which have been elaborated in Chittupad Kand. But here it is said that there are 3 immoral roads, namely Lobha, Dosa, Moha. So we have already discussed that what is Kusala, just opposite of Kusala. There are states which are called as akusala. So akusala hetu sampayuttam chittamati akusala chittam hoti. So the akusal or immoral types of consciousness is associated with three types of immoral hetus or roots. They are the lobha, dosha, moha. Here lobha is the greed, that lobhoti par sampatti haranicha or par bandhanam mama bhavaya. Let the other belongings be mine. This type of thinking is called as lobha. Those is par vinas chinta, a desire to harm others. That how antipathy arises out of a person. This is the that how I have to destroy the personality of other. So par vinas chinta, whenever there is a desire to harm others, this is called as dosa. And moho is that dham sabhav patichadan lakkanati moho. That moha is the ignorance which covers the nature of the reality. Through the covering the nature of the reality, we are not able to know the all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. But in coming to Abhidhamma, this moha is called as a in the sense of dukkhe ayanam, dukh samudaya ayanam, dukh nirodham ayanam, dukh nirodha gamani patipada ayanam, patit samutpannesu dhammesu ayanam, id pachayata ayanam, Pubatta Parantam Yanam, not knowing the Four Noble Truth, not knowing the law of conditionality, not knowing the law of dependent origination, not knowing the past existence, present existence, and the future existence. This is called as Moha. Through the Moha, we are not able to know the nature of the reality, Anicca, Dukkha, and Anatta. So there are three immoral roots which are associated with the consciousness which is called as akusala chitta. And tatketta cha kilesa. There are other defining factors along besides these lobha, dosa, moha. And if you go through the Dukmatika of the Nikepakand, in which there are Nivarana Gochaka, Asava Gochaka, Oga Gochaka, Yoga Gochaka, Kilesa Gochaka, Upadana Gochaka, all the defiling factors, they or the immoral states, they have been elaborated there in the form of Dukmatika. So here the defiling factors, there are 10 types of kilesas which have been discussed in the Dukmatikas of the Nikhepakand, Lobha, Dosa, Moha. These are the preliminaries, and others defiling factors are also altogether 10 types of kilesas have been discussed. Kilesas are those stages which are darkening our consciousness or blackening our consciousness, through which our consciousness is being defiled. We are not able to know the nature of the reality. So associated with that, Vedana Kand, Sanya Kand, and Sankhar Kand. There are 52 types of psychic factors which have been discussed here. And beyond Khando, that is the 89 or 121 types of consciousness. So we have to find out that out of the 89 or 121 types of consciousness, how many are the consciousness which are called as moral, immorals, that is akusala chitta, associated with the lobha, dosa, moha. If you see the diagram, then you will see that there are 8 lobha mulaka, dosa mulaka in kama vachar. There are 8 lobha mulaka, dosa mulaka 2, and moh mulaka 2. So these are the dhammas which are called as akusala. Again, there are 14 types of akusala chetasikas which have been discussed in the Chittupadikand of Dhammasaṅgaṇi. So this the 14 types of akusala chetasikas which are associated with the 12 types of akusala chitta associated with the lobha, dosa, moha. So these dhammas are called as akusala chitta. And associated with this consciousness, whenever any actions related with the kahikam, vachikam, or manokam, physical action, that is the panatipata, adinnadana, kamesu mikshachara, vachikam, musavada, pisuna vacha, farusa vacha, samphalapa, and manokam, that is the abhijja, vyapad, and michaditthi. These three are called as monokam. These physical, vocal, and mental actions are being performed by persons. That is why it is called as chittam tikriya, that all consciousness are called as our actions. So these actions are called as immoral, ime dhamma akusala. So this is the answer of the second question. So it has been elaborated here. Tini kusal akusal mulani lobo doso moho tam sampayutto, sorry, tad tadkatha cha kilesa tam sampayutto वेदना खंदो संज्ञा खंदो संखार खंदो बयान खंदो तम समुत्थानम काय कम्मम वची कम्मम मनोकम्मम इमे धम्मा akusala. Next, there is a third question, which is katme dhamma abhyakata. How many are the dhammas which are called as inoperative types of consciousness? So here, dhamma is in the form of chitta, chetasik, rupa, and nibbana. That is the four ultimate realities. We have to find out the answer of that how many are the dhammas which are called as abhyakat. The term abhyakat is very significant in the suttas also. Whenever there are 10 types of abhyakat pahiyo which have been discussed in Pothapad Sutta, that the world is sasato lokoti va, asato lokoti va, antava lokoti va, anantava lokoti va, tam jivam tam sariram, ayam jivam ayam sariram, hoti tathagato param marnati va, hoti chana hoti tathagato param marnati va. There are 10 types of questions which have been discussed in the Abhyakat Pahiyo, in the Pothapad Sutta, as in the form of Abhyakat Pahiyo. But how here in the coming into the Abhidhamma, that it comes into the sense of ethics, then it is called as a neither moral nor immoral, which are not kusala, not akusala. They are called as abhyakata. And in the sense of Abhidhamma, abhyakata is vipaka and kriya chitta. So here vipaka is the resultant of the moral and immoral actions. Vipachana athena vipakam. And karnamattamati kriyam. So kriya is that which is being done, and it is only in the sense of arhata chittas or consciousness of the arhat. So here meaning of the word abhyakat is that which is neither kusala, moral, or not immoral, that is the akusala. It excludes the kusala chitta, akusala chitta, leaving them all the vipaka chitta, kriya chitta, rup and nibbana are called as abhyakat dhamma. So if you see in the table, it has been given in the, if you go through that, of how many are the consciousness which are called as vipak, and how many are the consciousness. We have to find out the answer about the four ultimate realities, chitta, chetasik, rupa, and nibbana. We have to see that how many are the consciousness which are called as vipak, chitta, as well as Rup and Nibbana. They are also considered as a abhyakat. We'll see how they are called. So out of the 89 types of consciousness, there are 36 types of consciousness which are called as vipaka chitta. So when a person does the moral action, he gets the resultant of the moral action. When a person does the immoral action, he gets the resultant of the immoral actions. It is never seen that a man does the moral action, he gets the resultant of the immoral actions. So there are altogether 36 types of consciousness out of 89, which are called as Vipaka Chitta. So see, in the text will come text how the text Niket Kanda says about it. So Kamavachar Vipak 23. If you see that how Kame Tevis Pakani Pui Puyani Visati. So here Kamavachar Vipak 23, Rupavachar 5, Arupavachar 4, Lokottar 4. There are 36 out of 89. When we are taking consideration of 121 types of consciousness, then Kamavachar Vipak becomes 23, Rupavachar 5, Arupavachar 4, Lokuttar 20. So altogether there are 52 types of consciousness which are called as Vipak Chit. In Kamavachar, 8 are called Kamavachar Sahetuk Vipak Chit out of the Kamavachar Mahachit, that is the Kusala Chit. There are 8 types of, and Kamavachar Hetuk, 7 Akusala, and Kamavachar Hetuk.
Is it audible?
Dr. Talat and Professor Deyakar, just to let you know, if you can hear me, that we've lost connection to the speaker here online. So just in case you're not aware.
Yeah, we can. He will repeat maybe this connection online cut gaya tha. So please, if you can summarize portion which you.
Yes, so we've lost connection.
Yeah.
We've lost connection.
We have 15 minutes now, 10, 15
No.
minutes.
I'm asking him how many minutes they lost the connection.
Hardly 3 minutes.
Okay, we can just recapitulate.
Okay, so just summarizing all these things, that so we have discussed just the first Kusalatik of the out of the 22 Tik Matikas which are discussed in Nikhepakand. So we have discussed and how Nikhepakand says about this Katme Dhamma Kusala, Katme Dhamma Akusala, Katme Dhamma Abhyakata. So these 3 we have discussed today. We have discussed with the help of diagrams that how the text says about it. So from the next class, we can discuss the remaining Tik Matika, that is the Vedana Tik and Vipaka Tik will make a through the text. And I will ask Talat Parvinji to share the text so that we can go through the text directly and we can discuss all these things, how Tikmatika discusses about the ultimate reality, Chit Chet Sikha Rup and Nibbana. So this is the end of today. And if you have any question, you can ask the question, any doubts. Okay, Mriganji.
I have a very basic question regarding, like, we know that the question is that on what ground the Theravada tradition attribute the Abhidhamma Pitaka as the Buddha's Vachan. So we know already discussed that is the first and second concept that Dhamma classified in two terms, Dhamma and Vinaya and Dhamma. And you also mentioned a study that Abhidhamma was the form in the Dhamma, but not as a form of seven text, but Abhidhamma is there. So my question is that means that also it is said that like Pali Vada, Vinaya and Ananda Vada, Sutta, and someone say that like a Mahakaspa was a Madhika, but we don't know what exactly. So the point is that Abhidhamma Pitaka, the first text is Dhammasaṅgaṇi, and you also highlighted that Madhika word is only described in this text. In other six texts, we don't have a detailed mention about the Madhika. So I just want to know that is a first question that how they say that this is a Buddha Vajna, Dhamma is a Buddha Vajna, because we also have evidence that like a Buddha went to and
Yes.
But I think this was I think others say it's a later edition. But what ground they say that these are the word of the Buddha. And second thing is that Madhika connection is there. There's like a Mahakaspa or the Madhika there. Do you have any evidence in that?
Okay. So why Abhidhamma is called as a Buddha Vachan or not? It has been discussed in the Nidan Katha of Dhammasaṅgaṇi also. In a very detailed manner, it has been said that in suttas we are having that evam me sutam ekam samayo bhagava savatyam viharati jetvane anat pinrakasa arame. But in the text of Abhidhamma, we do not have such type of evam me sutam or ekam samayo bhagava viharati, such type of. So heretics are asking the questions also, and related with the Kathavathu text. There are dialects in between the heretics and Theravadins, Vitandavadins and Theravadins. So they are also saying that here also in Abhidhamma text, it is also said that once upon a time, the Blessed One was dwelling in Parichatavtin's Loka. Under the Parichataka tree, he was preaching to his departed mother. So this type of Acharya Buddha Ghosa has defended it, that in the our text, this is the available that this Abhidhamma was preached by the Blessed One. Again, related with the Kathavathu, it is said that when Kathavathu was composed by Mogliputra Ther at the time of Third Buddhist Council, how it can be considered as a text of Abhidhamma Pitaka. So in answer to this, Acharya Buddha Ghosa also discusses in Dan Katha, and it is said that the Matikas of the Kathavathu, it was already established by the Blessed One. And it was developed by Mogliputra Thera in the form of Kathavathu. And he quotes also Acharya Buddha Ghosa, and he made a forecast also that there will be a bhikkhu who will compile a text after Mahaparinibbana of 250 years of Mahaparinibbana, and he will compile a text in the form of Dekh Nikaya. So this has been defended here, And again, it is said that there are two types of Buddhavachana, Buddha Bhasit and Buddha Anumotit. Buddha Bhasita is that type of teachings of the Buddha which were preached by the Blessed One himself. And Buddha Anumotit is that type of teachings of the Buddha which were preached by the close disciples of the Buddha, and later on they were approved by the Blessed One. Like Sariputta has preached the Samadhi Sutta, Mahakachan has preached Madhupindika Sutta. There are so many suttas which were preached by the close disciples of the Buddha. But later on they were approved by the Blessed One also, and they are considered as the teachings of the Buddha. In the canonical Madhyam Nikaya or Dika Nikaya, we are having the text suttas of Madhupindaka or Samadhi Sutta. But again, this when Kathavathu, which was composed by Acharya or Mogliputra Tisather at the time of King Ashoka in the Third Buddhist Council, the Matikas which were established by the Buddha himself for the Kathavathu, and it was developed by Mogliputra Tisather. That is why Kathavathu is also considered as a text of Abhidhamma Pitaka. Now coming to the Matika Dhar, Vinay Dhar or Sutta Dhar, we are having, there were two traditions also at that time. And even Masik, there were two types of dharma that is called as Dhutanga Dhar, and which was followed by Mahakasyapa. And there is a Ananda which was called as a Sutta Dhara. So they were having the only scriptures, the readings of the text. But here, the Matikas, at that time, and we had also discussed that there might be probability, scholars are of the opinion that at the time of the Buddha, the Abhidhamma was in the form of Matikas. And later on, from the Sariputta, when Sariputta got the teachings of the Abhidhamma from Blessed One at Sankasa, and there is a close succession of from Sariputta till the Third Buddhist Council, till Mogliputra Tisather, how Abhidhamma has been developed in the form, and this is the council in which we are having the first of all Tipitaka in the form of Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Before that, we are not having the Tipitaka as such. Even Mahakasyapa also says that Dhammam cha Vinayam cha Sangayama. But in defense of this Dhamma, Acharya Buddha goes in the Arthasalini says that the Dhamma indicates Sutta and Abhidhamma both. So he is saying that here Dhamma is not only for the Sutta, but here Dhamma is in the sense of Sutta as well as Abhidhamma also. We had also discussed that how in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Buddha gives the last teachings related with the 37 factors of enlightenment. And these 37 factors of enlightenment, which have been praised by the Blessed One, and he asked Ananda that follow these teachings of the 37 factors of enlightenment, it will lead towards a state of liberation or the state of eternal bliss. If you see the 37 factors of enlightenment, they have been divided into 7 stages, like fourfold of mindfulness, 4 satipatthana, 5 indriyas, 5 balas, 4 idhipad, then 8-fold path, then 7 factors of enlightenment, sat bhujanga. So they have been divided here. So these are the ways for getting a state of eternal bliss. So modern scholars are of the opinion that these 37 factors of enlightenment are the origin of the Abhidhamma. And when the followers were analyzing these 37 factors of enlightenment in the form of 4 satipatthana, 5 indriyas, 5 balas, और Hori Dipad, 8 Athangi ko Maggo or Satbojanga, they are developing the Abhidhamma. And this is the origin of the development, and it took till the third Buddhist council in the form of 7 texts of Abhidhamma Pitaka. So this is a great journey. At the time of the first Buddhist council, there might not be any probability of the 7 texts of Abhidhamma Pitaka, but it was from the Mahaprabhupada of the Buddha. We are having the third Buddhist council, in which, first of all, we are having the Tipitaka. And Milinda Panyo is the first text which gives information, first of all, the 7 texts of Abhidhamma Pitaka. In literary form, we are having the 7 texts of Abhidhamma Pitaka, first of all, in the Milinda Panyo. So this is the that is why it is called as the, since Matikas were established by the Blessed One himself in the Tavtim Sloka or here in Sankasa to Sariput, and there is a close succession from the Sariput till the third Buddhist council. There is a development of our and there are the roles of the monks, especially Brahmin Karvant monks, who were very much prominent after the Mahapandipan of the Buddha, and that is the origin and development of Abhidhamma. If you see the role of the Mahakasyapa and how the Brahmin Karvant monks, the scholars, they have analyzed that before this Mahapandipan of the Buddha or the first Buddhist council, there is no any development of the Abhidhamma. But it was the role of the Brahmin Karvant monks who played a development of the 7 texts of Abhidhamma Pitaka, and it was the third Buddhist council in which Kathavattu, which is traditionally considered as a 5th text of Abhidhamma Pitaka. But as per the chronology of the text, it might be the last text of Abhidhamma Pitaka. But again, if you go through the 15th chapter of Kathavattu, then we are having only 15 types of pachayas, not 24 types of pachayas there. There might be probability, C.F. Rees David, when he is translating the Kathavattu methods of debate and debates commentary, then she is saying that after the compilation of the Kathavattu, the Pathan might have come in the full form. There are 6 volumes which are related with our Pathan Pakara. So even we have discussed that how in Nagarjuna Konda, there is a only 5 Panchamatuka. They are discussing only 5 texts. So by that time, by 3rd century BC, 3rd BC, we are having the 5 texts. And Kathavattu and the Pathan, they might have compiled later on also. So these are the observations of scholars. Yes.
Already you mentioned, we know that the Buddha is first Abhidhamma, the true departed mother, Mahamaya, Avati Sarvukha. So, and we also know that Abhidhamma is a special Dhamma by higher teaching. Mahamaya was that time maybe in the Avati Sarvukha. That means he was not a Arahant. So, in the tradition, it only shows that respect to the mother, or also it mentions that Mahamaya is the ugly life, she was this kind of thing, because and after that the Buddha taught the Dhamma to Sariputta. This is the story. So I am just wondering that why Mahamaya, is that only for the respect, or she was also able to understand the whole
Both things are there, that giving respect to his departed mother, and we also know that she was in the stage of Sotapan also, when she was not in Arhat Phal stage, but she was in Sotapan. So for making her to get a state of Arhathood, he might have thought to preach Abhidhamma, since these are the and we do not find the life of our Mahamaya in Pali text, but in Lalita Vistar and other Sanskrit text, Sadhampundrika Sutra, we are having the detailed story related with our Mahamaya. And it is said that when Mahamaya came to know that my son has reached to the Tautins Loka, then it is said in the Sanskrit text that the milk from the breast automatically came out and it went to the mouth of the Blessed One. So this is the affection how the departed mother showed respect to his son also. So there is a great story that how she approaches to the Blessed One, how she there is a great story that when Mahamaya, there is a stupa in Sravasti also of Mahamaya. And it is said that from Tavtiv's Loka, Mahamaya used to come to see where the Mahaparnibbana of the Blessed One was held. And on the same time she was coming, she was paying respect also. And it is also said in the Sanskrit text that she was present at the time of the rituals when it was being performed. And when there is a Chaitya also, which was constructed by later our venerable monks in Sravasti, where Buddha had got the. So this is the great respect as well as to make her achieving a state of arhathood. He might have gone there. Yes, sir. Truptiji.
Vidhamma text, it appears that the teaching in the Tavatins appears as a narrative which is being added, which is being established, which is there to establish the authenticity of the text as a Buddha Vachana. It appears like when we read. So why there is a need for such narrative? Why is there a need for such narrative?
We cannot say, but in the Nidhan Katha of Arthasalani, it is said that Mogliputra Sathir did not compile Kathavathu on his own self, but on the basis of the Matikas established by the Blessed One, he composed the text Kathavathu. That is why it is said that Sathar Din Nay Basena Kathavathu. It has been said by the Acharya Buddha Ghosh that it is narrative also, but we do not have, and there are scopes of narratives in our literature also. And narratives makes our legend also, mystery also, as well as it makes a history also. And based upon the narratives, we are making the literature also. So this is the narratives which are propounded by the tradition, by Acharya Buddha Ghosh, by Mahavihar traditions which we are following. So one can, I cannot say about it that from where did he get the information, but this is the interpretation of Acharya Buddha Ghosh. And even if you go through the Nidhan Katha or Pup Katha of Milinda Pahyu, and the life history of all our Acharya Buddha Ghosh as well as King Milinda and Acharya Nagasen. If you see the life history which has been depicted in the Pup Katha as well as in the Nidhan Katha about or in the Buddha Ghosh Upatti, you will find the same style of the writing, the life history. we cannot say about it. And there are some scholars who opine that this Upakatha of the Milinda Pahiyo originally does not belong to Milinda Pahiyo. It was written by Acharya Buddha Ghosh for making authenticity of Milinda Pahiyo. And if you go through the Visuddhimagga, you will find that there are so many passages which have been quoted by Acharya Buddha Ghosh in defense of his chapters of Visuddhimagga. So there might be probability. Scholars are thinking that this Upakatha originally does not belong to our Milinda Pahiyo. It might be written by Acharya Buddha Ghosh himself for making it as a authentic text of Pali literature, and he is quoting a lot of things from Milinda Pahiyo also. So these might be narratives, but narratives makes history, makes literature also. And since we are belonging to the Mahavihar tradition, we have to follow these traditions also. But we have to make it very critical also. When Professor D.J. Kalupahana, when he was writing a history of Buddhist philosophy, he made a question that what happened to the original manuscripts from where Acharya Buddha Ghosh translated all commentaries into Magadhi from Sinhalese. These original manuscripts, what happened? They disappeared. There was a fire also in defense of that. It is said that there was a fire in Anuradhapur Mahavihar and all the manuscripts have been burned. So what we can say? We cannot say that the commentaries which are available nowadays, how much they are authentic. Even D.J. Kalupahana puts a question, and Sri Lanka is considered as a pioneer of Theravada Buddhism. They also become very much silent when there is a question related with the what happened to the original manuscripts. They do not say anything, they become silent. So these are some of the things, but since belonging to the Anuradhapur Mahavihar or tradition of Acharya Buddha Ghosh, Dhammapala, Buddha Datta, we have to follow what the texts are saying about it.
I think we can probably stop here. Because,
Yes.
we can continue this.
Okay.
And then maybe next week we can.
Okay, in the next week, the remaining questions, I will be also glad to discuss with you all your questions.
All your questions, but in class, you definitely can ask. Then also email if you want your questions.
Yeah, already I told them, if you have any questions, any more questions, then please you can email us, and we can take it there, in the class, we can the questions. Okay, hello everyone.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you again in the next week. आपका यहाँ पर है।
हाँ सर, देख अरे एक सिस्टर लोग